Go live.
Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Prince Charming.
Hold on. Let me shake out the danger, the curls.
That's right. What's up, Bill?
What's up, Bill? Sorry for late, everybody. Technical issues abounded. But here we are.
We've had a lot of those this past 7 days.
Yeah, whatever. It's a thing. So
It's what it is.
it is what it is. It's Monday, Bill. How are you, man?
It is, Bill. It's Monday. It's what
How how was the
it's the deal.
weekend?
It's good. It was relaxing. Um, I did some errands and stuff. I worked on a little bit of client work on last night, like late. I went to Panera late and met up with one of the court guys, and we did a little work. But that was planned. We'd planned for it.
That's interesting. What's it like
Yeah.
to work in a Panera right now? Is it tumbleweeds? Is
Ghost
it packed?
town.
Really?
Oh yeah. We were the only people in there. We were there for 3 hours. Not one person came in.
Wow. Okay,
I
so
take that back. One couple. Sorry, one couple came through.
not to make this political or not, but like I'm curious for the whole 3 hours that you're there, are you wearing the mask the whole time?
Oh no, the only people there.
Okay, cool. Like that's how I would think about it as well. I was just curious if that was the
No, I mean I wore my mask walking in and ordering food, and when I went to the bathroom once, but when I
okay.
was sitting in my booth, I was like, "It's work." You know?
Interesting. Cool. I've not gone out and worked outside of the house since all of this started. So I
Oh,
used to
okay.
be like a huge fan of going to coffee shops and trying to be
Yeah.
productive there and having like a start outside of the house to my day. And then all this happened and I just haven't done it and I kind of don't really know what the rules and the standards are. So I'm just kind of okay, fine, I'll just stay home.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's
It's
really
I
interesting.
typically work from home too. I'm the same as you. I like to go out and mix my day up. So I actually only work out when I have other people who I need to meet that we need to do some work or something, and then Zoom just doesn't really cut it. Like you
Yeah.
could do it on Zoom, but it's just easier in person.
And there is something about working with somebody else in like the same space, like it really kind of changes everything.
Yeah, energy.
What do you got this week, Bill?
All right. So this week, we're doing some Facebook ads, and
Okay.
got some data back now, which is fun because getting to look through some data, getting to look through the downloads, see who's downloaded, our conversion rates, and things like that.
Hmm.
So I think we're working on a secondary ad this week to test versus
Okay.
our control. So I've got some of that going on. I've got another just kind of side client friend of mine. I'll be doing some work from her this week just for like get stuff done, get paid, get out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I'm going to be updating my 30-day group content to be more message focused officially now this week. This will be the week I actually get to start working on that.
That's cool. That is
So
cool.
I'll update my content there. Yep. So that's my main focuses for the week.
Okay. Do you know what your bill bet is for this week?
I don't have a big one. Like I could set it on the content, and make sure that the modules are done.
Mhm.
It's not very stretching. And at this point, like you and I talked about, like I'm starting to get in the niche for like stretchier goals. It
You
feels
know,
boring to me.
well, because, this isn't just for work stuff, is there anything on the family side that maybe a bill bet makes sense for?
Not really. I mean, there's just nothing nothing easy I can think of
That's fair.
because I'm just kind of rocking along this week. And maybe that's what this week is. Maybe something will come up since it's on my brain this week now.
Mhm.
Next week I'll have something. But yeah, the goal this week I think probably is going to be for me to have all that 30-day content done, get those modules done this week by Friday.
Interesting. Um, I have kind of an odd week. Or maybe it's not. Maybe I just want to tell myself that. Uh, so what I've been doing is I've been telling myself that I can only, or that I need to write a certain amount of sections for this thing that I'm working on each week, right? And that makes it really easy for me to go in there and be like, oh, I don't want to write about this section. I want to write about this section. So like I'm kind of creating sections as I write because I'm like, ooh, I need to talk about that. Ooh, I need to talk about that. So this week, the goal is by Friday, this thing is ready to ship to Melissa. Like this is the better goal, right? And I really should have done a better job of being like, okay, cool, like these are the locked in sections, and kind of checking myself all the way through.
Mhm.
But I wasn't really sure the direction that this thing was going to take. So by Friday, this thing will be done with the positioning that I want and kind of the flow through it, so that way I can give it to Melissa and yeah, kind of take a break from it, which would be good because it's starting to feel heavy. Um, because I do need to work on, I've got a lot of leads right now, which is awesome. A lot of people want to talk about sales and, closers and everything else like this, which is great. So I need to wrap this thing up mentally so that I can be kind of out from under it and put more focus into this. So Friday, it's done, come hell or high water.
Okay.
I need to be working my leads this week, following up, getting next steps, putting them actually through my process. And I've got some exciting stuff this week. Yeah, a new client is coming on, so we're going over his assessment actually later on this afternoon to go really deep about who he is, how he communicates, and what he's really looking for in a salesperson. But yeah, man, and then I've got a CRM build tomorrow. But Alice's birthday is on Wednesday. So here's the other part of my bill bet. We asked for some videos from everybody who knows her, right? And we've had a handful of them kind of like come in. So the goal is to essentially be out most of Wednesday, like hanging out with her and stuff like this. So we got to get that video done and over, for her and all that stuff. So course book thing done by Friday, videos, and good birthday for Alice on Wednesday. It's kind of my bill bet this week.
Awesome. Love that. That's great. I'm a big fan of that. I was trying to figure out if there was a way I could get over there Wednesday because I just wanted to surprise her and say hi, even if I just step out for a little bit. But I've got school's back in session, and Wednesday's our school day. So that's going to be really tough.
What's so funny is I've got some amazing people like around me, because you said this. A friend of mine, Mike, who lives up in Chicago, good morning, Mike, if you're watching, he is going to have donuts delivered to his house at the same time that he has donuts delivered to our house, and he's going to call my daughter and have a FaceTime session with her and eat donuts with her. And I'm just like,
So
it's so good. Like just like the focus and the compassion is really, really crazy. So I've got amazing people in my life, so I'm very, very happy and humble. And she's gonna be 9 and she's excited about it, so I'm fired up. It's gonna be a good week.
Yeah, dude, she's gonna have the best 9. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I've got actually in other news, I've got a official brand new Schedule B list to go off of with contacts. So I was going through my network this weekend, and a friend of mine had already done that exact research. And so she's like, because for her stuff, she actually had me look over emails for her for outreach, and I didn't realize that what the target was. And so she's sharing it with me because I've helped her on several things pro bono. So she's like, I want you to have this list. I was like, yes. So now
I'm sorry. I have a question, but go ahead and finish.
Well, so I'm just going to I'm going to go through the list to make sure. I'm going to double check on stuff, make sure there's good contact info. But besides that gives me a really great start for asks.
So here's my question. So she brings some emails to you to kind of look over to make sure that they're solid. You don't need to have a conversation about like, hey, who's this marketed for?
Yeah, but she did not tell me they were Schedule B. She told me they were. So I don't want to tell too much about what she does.
It's fine. You can leave
it a little sensitive, but no, I asked. I just didn't get all the way down to. I mean, like you and I discovered, that's not a term that people just throw around unless they're in the industry. Apparently,
absolutely, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
And so, no, I absolutely knew who it was and the purpose of the email and when they were getting it and why she was outreaching when she was like all that stuff for sure.
You just know that the niche that she was writing to is the same niche you're going after. Okay.
Yes.
And so Jake gets bailed out from having to build the list.
Yes. Gosh, how amazing is that?
Talk about hashtag avoidance right there.
Oh, that is hashtag blessed, baby. I just asked and it showed up.
Oh man, that's so funny. Yeah, dude, you gotta have a bill bet, man. I don't feel comfortable I have nothing to hold you accountable for. I feel like a bad accountability partner.
I just don't have a. I don't have anything super stretching this week. That's just the only thing. I mean, you hold me accountable to the content, like I'm holding you accountable to your monster book that you're putting together over there. I'm just putting
a monster. You're setting the
we got
wrong precedent there, buddy.
3,000 words, no big deal.
But here's the deal, man. Like that doesn't feel like that many words. Like it's great.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I also don't feel like I'm that tall, and then I meet somebody who doesn't know me. They're like, "Whoa, did you play basketball?" No, I didn't play basketball. I'm just this tall for no good reason.
I'm not Jake from State Farm. No. Same thing.
My height is only for top shelf grocery store things. It's not for putting things above the rim.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, man, you gotta have something. You gotta have something to push you, or else this is just gonna be a week of complacency. Is this Jake's week of complacency? Is that what we get to call it?
I mean, I guess, because I'm not chasing complacency this week. I just can't think of anything challenging,
We don't take vacations. We just have weeks of complacency.
That's right.
Bill, I don't know. I've just killed all the goals. I've killed every goal known to man. I guess I there's nothing left to do over here.
I'm not being creative enough. Apparently, that's where I'm at. I'm just not in that stretchy creative.
Pick a workout bet. Pick a family time bet. Pick anything.
Okay. I'll do a workout bet because I have been super inconsistent on my workouts. I got to hit 5 workouts this week. I have the workouts sitting pretty close actually. So I know there's no excuse there. I know what to do.
Okay.
5 workouts, and trust me, that's been a challenge. So that would be stretching.
Good.
5 workouts. Otherwise, what? I have to do something on video workout-y. Like I have to do 100 air squats or something, or handstands or something.
No, you got to do, I don't know, burpees?
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. If Jake does not work out 5 times.
50 burpees.
Without stopping on video with this guy just providing color commentary and needling.
Oh gosh. Yeah, it's done now.
This is going to be so great.
50. I'm gonna be working out at like 9:45 one night. Like I can't. No.
This is going to be great. He's writing it down, everybody. It is set. The BIL bet is set. We're going to be seeing some burpees on Friday.
We will not. All right, but I will do a burpee this week just to mock it. Be like, you're not getting 49 more of these out of me this week. That's right. Here's the one. Hope you enjoy it.
So we recorded some podcast episodes yesterday, and I think maybe kind of hitting a groove as far as some interesting stuff, because Clint had this interesting deal that turns out the only reason he's so attached to it is his own ego, right? And he admitted it there on the show. And then in the next one, we talked about this other story from the field from a guy that I know whose whole kind of back office who supports him. Not all of them, but like half of them got up and left. They quit because they got poached. And so he's like, what do I do? And I'm like, man, you don't take your foot off the gas. You just make sure that you're continuing the network, and the deals that are coming in are top end deals, because you're not going to have time to work a bunch of them. And so we talked about those 2 things. And I think we're going to be going much more in that direction of like, let's pull like a big recurring situation and talk about how we would deal with it from like the different personality segments and things like this for sales stuff. And, both the episodes that we recorded yesterday were, in my opinion, some of the best stuff that we've done, because it's just like, this is what I would do. This is how I think about this and everything else like that. So I think you get a really good glimpse of like, oh, this is just how C's think in these situations. This is how D's think in these situations, because that's the goal of the show, is to talk about there's no one right way to do this, right? It's the one you feel comfortable of and the one you can do the most consistently. So, yeah.
I like that. And it's good practical stuff too, because even if you only get a couple point of views on it, that's 2 more than you had for like when that happens to you.
Absolutely. What's so funny was Clint was talking about on the show, he inherited this deal from a guy that they had to lay off, and so he decided that he was going to self-source it as opposed to like put it through the normal process. So already he's adding weight to his commitment to consistency, right? I must win this thing, and now it's been 8 months, and he's just like, he's literally told them, this is going to end with me doing this job, like. So it's he's under the weight of all this, and he goes, man, if I was one of my guys, I would say drop it and move on, but I just can't. And I'm like, oh, so you like being one of those sales leaders who says do as I say and not as I do. And he was like, oh, that might have done it. And I was like, I mean, here we are.
Just put it on drip and walk away. That's it.
It's kind of why we're here, man. Fresh eyes. And it was just a really, really good episode because like he knew it, right? He knows that he's putting these walls up to keep him trapped around this deal and stuff. And we do this crap to ourselves all the time as salespeople. So yeah.
All people. What are you talking about? All people.
Absolutely. Alice started to say something like I'm a something, and I don't remember what the word is, but like she said it, and I kind of looked at her and I said, be careful with that. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, you keep telling yourself that it's going to become true, right? Yep. Maybe only to you, but you're changing your programming, Yep. And man, it's blowing me away, some of the stuff that I'm getting into on the psychology side of like how all this stuff works. Like there's always another level, like, and I say that all the time, but with all this stuff about the psychology and how we program ourselves and everything else like this, it's yeah, I could read about it endlessly.
Absolutely. I think I've told you a bunch of times that the word can't isn't allowed in our house because and they know when they say it, they go like, it's
really?
Bad. Oh yeah, it's been that way for years. It's like
ours is anytime Alice says that you can't do anything, it's like, well, not yet.
Yeah.
Do you want to put in the work to be able to do that?
Right.
I don't know. Okay, cool. So is it a big deal then? Well, no, not really. Okay, cool. Then let's move on.
Right.
Trying to get, momentum and action is the answer to most of what ails you. I think is where I'm landing with the whole thing. But yeah, man, we're going to be a year into the pod next month, which is insane, right? And we've got, I think, 48 original episodes, and most of them are like over an hour long. Like we started going a little bit shorter whenever we went into COVID, but like we easily have 40 hours of hour long, I think, episodes. I mean, it's kind of crazy to like think about the milestone and to also think about how most people would be like, whoa, you have a podcast that's been going for a year. You guys must be crushing it. It's like, well, define crushing.
Exactly. What your goal is.
Yeah, there's so much work that goes into it. I mean, just to get it going, right? If you're going to launch something, right, just make sure you're really, really in it for the long haul, because the results are going to be lagging, right? Jake and I do this every morning, and we would do it every morning, even if nobody was watching this thing, because it makes us better. Sales Throwdown makes me better. So when we have to do those on a Sunday night at 5, like I was on a Zoom call from 4:30 to I think 6:30 last night, recording a couple episodes and everything. You got to make sure that you're really bought into that stuff, and you know what the goals are, and you make it non-negotiable. Like every week I'm in that thread with those guys of like, cool, like let's get the next one scheduled. Let's get the next one scheduled. Because if you take your foot off, it's going to go away for sure.
Oh yeah. And then, I mean, I definitely know, especially on that, 'cause, I had the Unlearn show back a couple years ago.
Yeah, you did.
And it was 4 of us, and that was, man, it's tough to get 4 people together consistently over and over and over and over and over. And it finally unraveled a little bit. Well, it did, because we don't do it anymore. But because it just didn't, it stopped being a priority for some of them. So,
and that's like the standard conversation with everybody on the pod is like, okay, cool. Are we happy with this? Yes. Okay. What's our next milestone? What's the timeline to hit it and stuff like this? That way we're not, lying to ourselves about like what all we're doing here.
Right.
It's really interesting though, because, there are 3 other people, as far as, doing the most around the podcast. It's Melissa and I, and that's on us. We did that on purpose. But the constant effort of promoting that thing and getting it out there in front of other people, and the SEO and the marketing stuff and it it is a behemoth of a job. You know, we've got three people working on just the promotion of that site yet, and we're not huge, right? And so then the questions come into mind of like, do we need to change radically change the formatting, or do we just need to like focus because we think that the formatting is solid and we just need to get it in front of enough people who think like we do? And I'm curious from a marketing perspective, Jake, how do you define that in your head? Like when do you say, okay, cool, we need to adjust this a little bit? Or do you just stay the course and you're just like, you know what, our tribe is out there. We just have to keep like looking to find them, and eventually it'll happen, and then it'll just go, because I think you can go broke chasing the audience, right?
Yeah, for sure. You can go broke both ways.
For sure.
So I think that's the magic elixir everyone's looking for, honestly. I always lean to the audience for topics, like things that they want solved and want to hear about. I tend to lean towards the hosts for format and things like that, where like we know we're best covering things this way. As long as you're covering things that the audience wants to hear, and you're not super boring, you know, you just suck as a show. I think you can be successful. You know, once again, you said it best. It goes back to what your goal is for the show. Is your goal to have 20,000 subscribers and to sell ads and to just be a show and you get to talk about sales and sell advertising? That's a 100% goal that you can use, right? That lots of people do. Or is it to generate leads for everybody on the panel, right? That's a different type of show. That's a different type of marketing. That's a different type of, so I think it just comes down to what you want to do. Because there are paths set for each of those types of goals. People have done it before you. You just get to bring your own twist on it. So I tend to lean on frameworks of people that have done it well before me versus trying to reinvent the wheel. I say that. Try is the key word there. Try to lean on the frameworks. Because once again, you said it. Like, what's the next milestone? What are we willing to do to get there? What have we tried? And you're the data guy. I mean, you tell me, like, how much data do you need to go, this isn't working? Or do you have the right data to go, this isn't working? Or it is working, you know? That's why it's so full-time. I think that's why most people don't realize how full-time a podcast is it's not just putting up a mic and a camera and talking.
I mean, it can be, but you know, it's kind of like good luck talking to yourself, right? I mean, like there's just so much content now, you know. It is really hard to just like show up and put out good content and it just like take off, you know. Like the promotion aspect of it is a necessary part, and that's why, you know, like I don't really want to be on TikTok, but like seeing some of the results of some people who were like early users on there, you know, when you talked about, I think it was Melton who had like a viral video and stuff like this, and it's like, but you know, I'm also like wary because it's like I don't need more social in my life at all. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do a good job on it and stuff like this. So, you know, I am taking kind of like a measured kind of like look at this thing before I decide if we're going to start doing it in any way, shape, or form, because there's a lot I don't know about it. But it is interesting to think like, well, since it's new and it's not flooded, you know, 6 of 10 content is probably going to perform like 8 or 9 of 10 of content on Facebook and YouTube. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. Of course, it all depends on, is your audience there? You know, it's a younger audience on TikTok. So
yeah, like, I mean, I think a lot of like the ClickFunnels, like agency owner, middleman people are going to be on there. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, what's funny though is they're on their marketing.
Yeah, exactly.
But they might be consuming. I think that's part of the you know, the lure of social media is they'll get you on there to start advertising, and then all of a sudden you're consuming too.
Oh,
you know?
that's interesting.
So your audience could be there, and they're telling themselves they're just their marketing, but they're also consuming just because they get caught in the trap. Because we all do. That's social media.
I wonder how much easier it is for me to prospect because the people that I'm prospecting to are marketers a lot of times, right? Who are obviously in love with hopping on the phone with like people because they're trying to sell them and stuff like that. That's an interesting question. Yeah, man, I don't know how I feel about that, but like it is harder, right? So like if you're thinking about starting something like this, like you need to give it, I would say, a year You need to have really good quant-based goals, which just means SMART goals. And I think you really, really got to, it's got to behoove you in some other way other than just, oh, here's more revenue, or here's how I can be, everywhere, like doing the Gary Vee thing.
Well,
I
yeah, I
didn't,
also think that switching or adding a social media channel just because you're not super happy with your current success level just adds complication. It's like if we know that the show needs to switch or do something, or whatever, something needs to change, adding TikTok I think just adds more headaches. I
oh, for
think
sure. Yeah.
you narrow down. If anything, you go, okay,
Yeah.
we got to nail YouTube or Facebook or whatever it is.
Honestly, I think that the majority of my audience, and I'm making moves to start being more present there, is on Reddit.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
that makes sense.
so I'm trying to build up my karma, because like I've not been a redditor for very long, and mostly I lurk, so I don't have really any karma. And so to post in some of these forums about sharing your podcast and stoicism and business and sales and everything else like this requires certain levels of karma. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to build up my karma there, so that way I can start posting and hopefully doing some of the same things on Reddit that I've been able to do on Facebook.
Yeah, that makes sense. Reddit is kind of like the thing that never leaves, never goes away. It's just been around for so long and it's still there, and I don't know if it'll ever go away. It's like Yahoo Answers. That thing was
Yeah.
around forever.
God, I hope Reddit does, but I mean, I guess on some levels it kind of already is turning into like a Yahoo Answers or like a Quora,
Maybe.
like a like a hipster Quora. You know how long I've been using Reddit? You wouldn't even know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Well, cool, man. But okay, so I feel like I know my answer for this, but like I feel like it was kind of a cloudy answer for people who might be listening, right? So, how do you figure out if you need to double down on, the volume to get in front of your target audience because everything is nice and tight and solid, or maybe you need to go back to the drawing board and adjust some things because it's not hitting with your target audience? How do you make that decision, Jake?
The hard part for me is knowing if your data is good or not, because there's the way it's just given up to you. So, for example, what's a measuring device that you go by? Like, what's something that you measure success by on the podcast?
So we look a lot at downloads, and we also look at like email opens.
Okay, downloads and email opens. So like email subscribers would be a win for you. The more people that subscribe via email to the podcast. So I would be looking at new email subscribers each week and see if it's steady or increasing or decreasing. That would be something I'd look at. And if it's decreasing, that's a problem, obviously. But sure. I if I'm not hitting a certain, I would have a number in mind of email subscribers that I want each week coming on, because it should be just math. Because if you get in front of enough people, ask people to subscribe, and they don't, then to me, there's something wrong with the delivery of the content in some way, shape, or form. Either that, or you're not hitting your target audience. One of the two. Yeah. So I would be looking at, if email is the thing and people aren't subscribing, then there's something wrong with the delivery of the message. Either the right person's not getting it, or it's not being delivered the right way. So I would start messing with those two variables. I mean, that's the two things I'd be looking at.
Okay. We get, I don't know, some of these numbers are wonky, and I need to get in there and figure out like a better thing, because like I don't really know that downloads is like the right.
No, because I don't download. I mean, sometimes I just listen straight from the source, and there is no download.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so we got to find a better way of like measuring success around that, so that way it's like clearer in one metric. And I don't really know that the email list is the best one metric for that. So yeah, I need to spend some time thinking about that this week. Because we do want to grow it. It is meant to have a thing around ads and stuff like this, so that way, very specific to like the sales audience, and we know who that target avatar is, or we think we do anyway, and moving forward from there. So that is the goal. So we gotta have an audience big enough that people feel like it makes sense to invest in for advertisement. So
sure,
work in progress.
Cool,
Bill. Well,
right. Do
you have anything big today?
No, Not a big one today. I have a big workout I got to get in today.
Yeah, you do. The first of 5.
I actually do. I have an on board with a client this afternoon.
Okay.
It's not the official like work yet. It's just kind of like a 30-minute onboard call. But so yeah, that would be the big one.
Okay. Well, awesome, man. Well, go kill your day, Bill.
All right, dude. Same to you.